Going into my recording for Matendouji, I was remembering it as a fun little action platformer. And then as I was playing it, I remembered why I had never beaten the game. There's several fundamental design flaws here that just undermine the whole thing. The title Matendouji is one of those things where they just took a bunch of Japanese characters and mashed them together. The first character in the title also doesn't exist in Japanese, so it's impossible to even come up with a rough translation here. But because of their character choice, this game's title is very often misspelled in Japan. They usually substitute the first character with the one for evil magic. The plot of the game is that you're a young boy who's the Prince of Earth, and your pet dog was the Prince of Heaven. You're the last survivors of your people who had been wiped out by the Prince of Hell. You've been in hiding, but some mystical orbs tell you that now is the time to strike back. When you start the game, you're given your choice between 3 orbs. The one on the left will give you a magic attack, the one in the middle will lengthen your health bar, and the one on the right will let you jump higher. Of the 3, I recommend the one on the left. You can purchase items in-game that will grant you the same abilities that the crystal gives you. The purchased version is always temporary. Always having magic available for you, though, will save you a lot of effort, especially on the later stages where you can purchase a permanent upgrade to your magic abilities. As you'd expect on stages, the A button jumps and the B button attacks. All of the enemies drop coins as well. Your normal basic attack is a sword, but if you press and hold down on the D-pad and then hit A, you'll cycle through items that you have at the bottom of the screen. The first one is your dog, which you can summon out and he'll run around the screen to attack enemies. The dog has his own health bar, and you have to recover it by purchasing an item from the shop. The second spot in the item bar is always for your sword, and the third spot is for your magic abilities. You start out only being able to throw a straight fireball, but on later levels you can purchase a power-up that will enhance the attack. Normally, magic is weaker than the sword, and you'll find that there are some enemies that are immune to it, but the power-ups help a lot. You can also get a dog whistle. When you have your dog out and you hit up, then you blow on it, and the dog starts doing more damage with its attacks. Enemies can also drop items to power up your sword and let it shoot a beam attack, or items that can heal you or your dog, depending on who picks it up. Keep an eye out for this woman as you're moving through levels. She's the shop, and that's your opportunity to buy any power-ups that you like. I have to talk about the movement in Matendouji, because it's pretty bad. If you're jumping and you attack with the sword, then you fall straight down. Doesn't matter how high you were, hitting the attack button ends your jump and stops your momentum dead. Now that's already annoying, but the stage design in Matendouji really likes throwing enemies at you as you jump over pits. So if you do the natural reaction to them, you die. Sometimes, depends on the level that you're on, because on levels 1 and 3, falling into a pit kills you, but on level 2, it just makes you lose a little bit of health and go backwards. The level design here is a real problem. Stages are long, and they have a tendency to repeat the same blocks of area over and over again. And the enemy placement tends to be absurd. You've got monsters who your sword can't properly hit, peppered in places where they can strike at you. It's especially bad on the second stage, where you'll have all of these spectral hands thrown at you, and you can't do anything about the launcher. Really, the only thing you can do is run through it all. And this game's favorite trick is placing enemies exactly right so that they'll knock you into a hole after you've jumped over it. On the third stage, there's even some blind jumps over holes. If you manage to make it to the bosses, they're damage sponges. They just soak up a ton of hits, and you're going to have to really struggle to survive long enough to defeat them. The boss of the second stage is particularly nasty as he sucks you into himself, but if you don't have sufficient magic, you will have to get close to him to hit him, which leaves you incapable of escaping that wind attack. Matendouji gives you 3 lives and 3 continues with which to beat the game, so if you have to continue on the first stage, just hit reset. There are, however, some cheat codes to help you. If you want to play kind of fair, then you can press select and B at the same time, and then press A and B at the same time to add a credit. It does require precision in pressing A and B simultaneously. If for some reason you just want to power through the game though, like say you have an hour in which to record a video for YouTube, then you can hit select in A, select in B, and then select in A again. Then when you start the game, you can hold down select and press a direction on the D-pad to grant yourself different abilities. The most useful direction is down because it refills your health. As you might expect from a game where nobody can get the title correct, this is another Famicom game that is not popular in Japan. It's so bad that the one blog I found talking about the game complained that there was nobody else talking about the game. I think at this point it's pretty clear that Matendouji is not a good game. Both the movement and the level design are severely flawed, and it just makes the whole thing frustrating to play. We're in an era of Famicom action games where even the average game is pretty good. Even when it was released, there were a lot better options to play than Matendouji. And now, this one is really not worth going back to.